Morning.
How are you, Prof?
I am fine. I'm not a senior lecturer at the University of Ghana. I am an associate professor. I've been educating you guys about this. You start your journey as an assistant lecturer, and then you become a lecturer, and then you become senior lecturer, you become associate professor, and then you become full professor.
Okay.
You see it? So I used to be a senior lecturer from 2011 to 2016. From 2016 to now, I have been an associate professor.
Okay.
So don't send me back. Don't reduce my.
Prof, I understand.
Don't reduce my post.
So Professor RANSFORD GYAMPO is an associate professor
Of political science.
of political science. Okay, that's fantastic. Thank you very much for speaking to us this morning.
It's a pleasure.
This morning, you are the front page. Your face is on the front page of the Ghanaian Publisher.
What have I done?
And the story is simple. The headline is Gyampo berates uncivilized hooting at Akufo-Addo. And I'm guessing you were commenting on the issue, what happened at the Global Citizen Festival when the president was booed and hooted at. First of all, where do you stand on the issue?
I think the headline, they've added too much salt to it, and then so it doesn't make it look it doesn't make it reflect my sentiment on the matter. I didn't use the word uncivilized. I mean, that's too strong. I cannot use that word and then expect that it be posted on the front page of a newspaper. I think that's too harsh and too strong, and I wouldn't say that. But so, coming back to your question, I think we are developing a nation, and you should understand that before partisan politics came into being, the state was already in existence. So everything that, in my view, kills the state, I would rather we kill it than to allow it to kill the state and to create a jungle for us. That's what so many people who are rabble rousers, so many people who are social media political laggards, what so many people who haven't, I don't know, but who do not appreciate our own values. These are some of the things that they can't come to terms with. Look, we are building a nation. At one point in time, I remember, if you look at the post that I put out there, John Mahama was the president of Ghana. He was attending, I think, the funeral service, or there was a solemn occasion at Menchia when the Queen Mother of Ashanti region of Ashanti Kingdom died, and then I think he was going to commiserate with Otunfo 32, and then it was supposed to be a very solemn occasion. He got to Menchia, and some very disrespectful people there started hooting at him, making insulting gestures and comments at him. A certain president, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, some very disrespectful chiefs, and some very disrespectful individuals, I'm not saying all, some started hooting at him and gesturing, making gestures at him, insulting gestures at him at Menchia. And it was very difficult for the President Mahama's team, security team, to even try to restrain some of these people who were making those offensive and insulting gestures. I thought it was something that was so wrong. You can't do that to a certain president. We have a culture. We have our traditions. No nation develops without its own culture. And when we talk about culture, we are not talking about everything anachronistic, but we are talking about a sum totality of a people's way of life. It includes the way we speak. It includes our values. It includes the food we eat. It includes the dresses we wear. So, I thought that was very bad, and some of us, we took serious issues with that. We commented on the issue that extensively, and we critiqued those who did that. Fast forward to today, we have a certain president going to address a gathering. Look, it is only those who are Article 71 office holders, and it is only political appointees of the current regime who are not experiencing the hardships and difficulties we are going through. How many are they? So my point is that the vast majority of the people are swallowing in economic miserization.
Hello, Prof. Hello, Prof.
Yes, hello, yeah.
Okay, I lost. Okay, I lost you there for a
The
moment.
vast majority of the people are in economic hardship and economic miserization. And so we are all not happy. Very soon you will hear. In fact, today we've invited your people and all media houses to come cover a press conference of University Chefs Association of Ghana and actually all the labor union movement on various tertiary education campuses. We've asked you to come and cover. When you come today at 2 p.m. at UPSA, you will hear the kinds of things that labor unions are saying about the economic hardships and challenges that they are suffering. Nobody is happy. It is likely, and we will not hesitate to go on an industrial action again because times are difficult for us. So we are not happy. But regardless of the fact that we are not happy, we cannot support the show of acts that undermine our cultural values, the acts that undermines respect, civility, and culture. I think that the people who met the president or the people who are at the garden when the president was addressing them, they could have shown a certain disagreement without necessarily hooting and booing at the president. I thought that was disrespectful. We can go on demonstration. We can write petitions. There can be protest march and here and there. These are all democratic mechanisms for expressing dissent. But if you have a solemn an occasion where the head of state and head of government is given the opportunity to come and address the crowd, you are, at the minimum, you are expected to just accord him some respect by just paying attention to whatever he says. But if we quickly would want to cite ourselves or compare ourselves to America, that after all, the President Bush, somebody threw the Sanders Act. After all, Macron was heckled, and so that is their culture. We must learn as a people to copy the best practices. Okay, the situation where we look at practices and want to
We've lost Prof. So we'll try and get him back. On the line. He's an associate professor of political science at the University of Ghana, speaking to us. Now, these are the portions of his address, of his write-up, his article, which is attracting attention. A few days ago, patrons at the 2022 Global Citizen Festival, we are told, hooted at President Akufo-Addo when he mounted the podium to deliver a speech at last night's event held at Black Star Square in Accra. Thousands of patrons turned up at the event ground to witness the international festival with several local and international artists performing. But when the president mounted the stage to address the crowd, people started chanting and hooting at the president, making it difficult for him to deliver his address. Like what happened to President Mahama. This is also not courteous and respectful. And even though many MPP apparatchiks and appointees are scared to come out to speak in condemning this practice, and even though some other level-headed Ghanaians are very angry with how bad things are, and hence will not comment about the disrespect shown, the sitting president, some of us won't shut up. We'll speak against this act of disrespect against the president. Well, so let's go back. We have Prof back on the line. Prof?
Yes, sorry. So what I'm trying to say is that social media political laggards are quickly comparing ourselves to what has happened to what happened to George Bush, what happened to Obama, what happened to Macron. That is their culture. You see, per their culture, they have a way of doing things. Let me give you an example. When I was studying in the US, before moving from here to go do my PhD, I was a university lecturer. Now, one day we were in a class, and then Professor Kent Fortney was doing some calculations on the board. Now, as he was going on, one of our colleagues, a white guy, an American, I heard him shouting, Kent, and we're all, what is this guy trying to do? He started calling the name of the professor, and then said, so when the professor turned to him, he said, what you are doing on the board is stupid. And I had palpitation when I heard that. But Professor Kent Fortney just turned and looked at him and realized that he had actually made a mistake and corrected himself. So immediately after the lecture, I accosted this gentleman. Why did you do that? Why did you tell the professor this? And he was surprised. He didn't even know what I was talking about. He was surprised that I was surprised at what he did. He felt it was normal. And that is them. But if you come to Africa, we have a culture of civility, respect, and courtesy that we must accord our leaders. That is never to say, please don't get me wrong, that is never to say that when our leaders are wrong, because of respect and courtesy, we shouldn't point it out to them. You've heard me several times always exposing or pointing out the wrongs and what I find inappropriate, pointing them out to leaders. I've always spoken my mind. Okay, that is different. I'm not saying you shouldn't go on demonstration when the leaders are wrong. I'm not saying you shouldn't point it out to them. But we should know, and I'm sure those who did the bullying, they know, there is a line that must be drawn between disrespect and dissent. There are two different things. What happened to the president at that gathering was a needless show of disrespect. It is akin to what happened to John Mahama when he went to Menchia. I condemned what happened to President Mahama when he went to Menchia then. And I cannot look at what happened to President Akufo-Addo now and say, because it is happening to Akufo-Addo, that one I'll have to keep quiet. No. People can talk partisan politics, but I talk Ghana. And like I said, before political parties were birthed, if you come to my lecture, Political Institutions, I will school you about how political parties emerged in the history of democracies. And I'm saying that before political parties emerged, the state already existed. And so acts that kill the state must be killed. Look, tomorrow we all show disrespect to leadership and there is lawlessness simply because we are not happy about what is going on. There will be chaos. Where will we all go? We only have one state called Ghana. We cannot go to Togo. We cannot go to Ivory Coast. We only have one Ghana. And so my point is that we are not happy with what is going on in the country. But that is also not licentious for disrespect. And those people who are easily saying, but it happens to John Mahama, it happens to John Mahama, we didn't hear you speaking against it. I mean, if you didn't hear me speaking against it, so what? The fact that I'm not saying I didn't speak against it. The evidence is there. You can check. You can Google this incident, and then you can Google my comment. He spoke against it. But my point is that Even if it was wrong yesterday and nobody commented about it, we are not banned from commenting about it if it is wrong today. What is wrong is wrong. What is wrong must not be subjected to petty partisan interpretation. It's not. It doesn't build a nation, and we are building a nation.
Prof, I'm wondering how else you think they could have approached that disagreement in that moment that will attract the president's attention.
No. The president was making a speech. Just listen. He was invited there. Okay, I don't think that the president went there uninvited. And so how do you invite a person to go and deliver a speech, and when he gets there, you boo at him? I mean, I'm asking you, will you be happy? You are sitting, to put it in popular Ghanaian palace, you are sitting, you're somewhere, and then some people feel that they are having an occasion and they want you to go grace it. And out of courtesy and respect to those who invited you, you go there only for the people to boo you away.
But these are people who were at the festival. They were not the organizers. So I'm sure they didn't even know the president was coming to address them.
I don't think so. I mean, if you have an event and there will be addresses and there will be speeches, you think that you attend without knowing those who will be making the speeches?
This is virtually a jam session where you are coming to hear where an artist is coming to sing to you, perform to you, an entertainment program. So you don't expect that the president will turn up and start addressing it.
Regardless of that, the man is the head of state and head of government. And please, let us also draw a line of demarcation between the persona or the person of the president and the presidency. They are different things. I am advocating for two things. Number one, let us respect the president as an individual because the head of state. And number two, more importantly, we must respect the office the man occupies. Look, we are a well-cultured people. I don't know whether you've forgotten, but gone are the days when if an Ekriape man wants to insult you, he even said, please. He even pleaded before insulting you. When an Ekriape man wanted to insult you, he even prefixed his insult with please. I also come from the Central Region, Sopon. We say we don't fear police. But regardless of the fact that we don't fear police, we also have a saying, Aban Yedu, government is heavy. And so that statement guides our attitude and conduct towards any man or woman in uniform representing the state. I was growing up, there was this young man who was accused wrongly to have done something. The policeman just got him and then slapped him. And then moment after that, it was found out that he wasn't the one who did the wrong thing. And I asked myself, when the police officer slapped him, he didn't slap back. You ask yourself, why didn't he slap the police officer back? Because after all, he was innocent. Why didn't you do that? They say, Aban Yedu. So it was because of the respect for the office of the police officer. You see a very small boy police officer standing by the roadside, and you see a heavy articulated vehicle coming. A small boy will just lift one hand up, just lift one arm up, signaling the articulated vehicle to stop. Why wouldn't the articulated vehicle run over that police officer? Because he's a small boy, he's not powerful, he's not even armed. The idea is that you stop because you have respect for the office and the uniform the person is occupying. Okay, so it is not necessarily about one person. It is about the office that he is occupying, the office that another person can occupy tomorrow. That's what we are talking about. If we despise that office, look, we are doomed. So I'm saying that if it happened to somebody in previous times, it was wrong. We condemned it. And if it is happening now, we must condemn it. We might not say that, we shouldn't say that because things are difficult and we are frustrated. And yes, as for things, they are difficult. And like I said, I'm hinting. that you would hear what labor union will be saying, this afternoon. Point to the fact that things are difficult and we are not happy. But that doesn't mean we should disrespect our authorities. Otherwise, we would have no state to live in.
Prof, you are virtually asking somebody to act rationally while they are angry.
Yeah, but if you are angry, have you seen you asking me this question? Have you ever been angered, and because of that you went to lie in the middle of the road and asked that you be run over by a vehicle before?
If that does not deal with my anger, why would I do that? But if I have a president standing before me who...
We are talking about acting rationally when you are angry. Okay, and I'm saying that, so then let it be the case that I'm so angry to the point that, look, I'll just go lie in the middle of the road and ask that I be run over by a vehicle. We don't do that. Okay,
you usually deal with the source of your anger, don't you?
You said what?
When you are angry,
yes,
the thing you confront is the source of your anger.
Yes, and I'm saying that there are decent and legitimate ways of dealing with the source of our anger. I mentioned you can do protests, you can write petitions, you can go on demonstrations without destroying property. Okay, you can write letters, you can speak your mind on all issues that bother you. But I'm saying it is uncultured or it is not too polite, it's not respectful to have a president invited to an event for the people to boo him away. That's not one of the legitimate and well-cultured, documented ways of showing dissent. It may have happened in other jurisdictions, but I'm saying that is who they are. Who we are well brought up and well cultured, and we are socialized into the dogmas of respect for ourselves. And so that is who we are. And I'm saying that no nation develops without its culture. Check it. Every nation, every country that you refer to as a developed nation, go and see their relationship with their culture. And I've already defined what culture means. No nation develops without its culture. Every nation that is developed because it upholds its culture. And I'm saying culture includes the cherishing of your own values.
And Prof, you always teach us that culture is dynamic.
Yeah, culture is dynamic. You must always do away with aspects of culture that are regressive, aspects of culture that are counterproductive. But certainly, respect for authority can never be part of the aspect of culture that can be described as counterproductive.
What if that disrespect gets you results, at least demonstrate your anger better than perhaps going to demonstrate and submitting a petition which will be ignored?
I don't know anywhere in the world where disrespect for authority has landed anybody anywhere. I don't know, unless you want to, because I mean, whatever happened to the president, when it happened to John Mahama, I know that he was not happy, and people around him were not happy. If there is something that he could have done for the people to address their concerns, I mean, because he was not happy, I'm not sure he will be in the right frame of mind to do so. In much the same way, what has happened, if the president is in a position to do something favorably in response to whatever the people were talking about, I'm sure he's also a human being. Okay, so he will be hit by some of it. So the point is that we are a nation of culture and we know our own values. Let us appreciate our values. I am not saying, please, the way you are asking these questions and hyping on certain issues, I want to be clear on this matter. I am never saying that when things are not going on well, we shouldn't talk about them. I am never saying that we shouldn't take the president on. You know what I've been doing? I've been taking regimes and leadership on. That's what I do. But I'm saying that if I happen to meet the president at an event and he's coming to address me, even though I've been taking him on, I'll not boo at him. Do you know the reason why when political parties, when they mount campaign Okay, when they mount their campaign platform, do you know the reason why they say all manner of things against themselves? Yes, when they see themselves, they are civil and they greet. Have you asked yourself, why is it that when President Akufo-Addo or when President John Mahama, why is that when he meets President Akufo-Addo, why is that when he meets John Baumia, why is that they don't snub each other? When they meet, they are civil towards themselves because that's our culture.
Okay.
Otherwise, if you want to justify whatever is going on, then when they meet, they should boo at each other, they should snub each other, and you see its cascading effect on us as a people.
But the president has not, former President Mahama before, refused to shake his hand. So it can be done, even within at the top.
Well, no, I'm not, listen, I'm not aware, I haven't seen, I'm not aware of that. But if it has happened, we will condemn it, or we must condemn it. If it has happened now, if I'm aware, or anybody who is aware and is a level-headed Ghanaian, do not look on and say, well, the president has done it, he's done it, he's done it. We must condemn it because that is not us as a people. What I have known, the history of the Fourth Republic shows that regardless of the extent to which we descend, when our leaders meet, they are civil towards themselves.
Okay. Prof, thank you very much for speaking to us.
My pleasure.
Professor RANSFORD GYAMPO is an associate professor of political science, University of Ghana, speaking to us on